family, and friends. It is always my beloved veterans. It's Emilio Roman coming at you from live from the iconic Atlantic City Boardwalk. And I'm with my lovely, spirited co-host, Umara.
Lodi.
Yeah. And the crowd goes wild.
Woo!
I love it. How are you doing, Umara, this morning?
It's a blessed day. I'm full of gratitude, and I get to see that lovely black backdrop that you have.
Yeah, thank you for that. And my deck is a little wet because it wasn't that this last night. And so the tides literally have changed because it was like scary. I had to take my little patio furniture out. But yes, thank you for acknowledging the beauty. And yeah, I mean, this is why we're here, right? We get to there's those days where it's not always so cutesy, but we do enjoy it when we have this moment.
That's true. And you're pretty brave. You're out there in the cold right now. So
that's why I'm here instead of the beach. We're going to make an egress inside. But I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Tell the viewers who we have up here in the next few minutes.
we have an amazing, amazing guest today, which I'm super excited to learn about and to meet. His name is Jose Flores, and he is the CEO and founder of Indispensable now. He's a global mentor, mindset disruptor, and a #1 best-selling author. Jose speaks all over the world using his unique story of growing up with a physical disability and how you can use your mind to overcome anything. His main message is to never allow your struggles to become your standard and how to dominate your life and business. Now, how powerful is that?
Yeah, no, blessing. Thank you for that introduction. And I saw Jose, I saw him come on earlier on the feed, and we're going to bring him on shortly. Oh, okay. So it looks like Jose is in the green room. I can't wait. You know what? We're not going to wait, and we're going to bring him on. So if we have the buzzer, the claps, the cheers, everybody help me welcome Jose Flores. All right.
Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jose. What a blessing it is to see you, brother. How are you doing on this day?
I'm doing phenomenal, man. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, man, thank you. Thank you for agreeing to come on. And I like to give the viewers a little backstory on how you and I met. So if you don't mind, let me just share this real quickly, and I'll let you. So I was at the 10X Growth Conference in Miami, and I'm walking with my wife, and then I see a crowd. And then I'm like, what is that? I see a crowd, and I see people taking pictures. And I said to this guy, who is this guy? And the guy literally says, that's Jose Flores. You don't know him? I said, no, I don't know him. I've never heard about you until that day. So you were there, and I just said, well, this guy's famous. I said, you might have to take a picture with you. And you were like, you gave me the nod. And then you said to me, hey, eres Boricua. I don't know if you remember that, but you told me, you said, you Boricua. Meaning, are you Puerto Rican? I was like, yeah. And I just started following you, and I felt a special connection with you that day. I've been following you ever since, Jose, and you truly are a leader in your space, man.
Yeah, man, I remember that day, man. I don't remember too many names all the time because I meet so many people, but I never forget a face, man. And I definitely remember you, brother, and your beautiful wife, yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jose. And Jose, man, I am just over the moon excited because the more I read about you, the more I watch you, and with your beautiful wife, Drea, you're down in Florida, but that wasn't your original home, right? You were originally from?
Yeah, I'm originally was born and raised in the Bronx, New York.
Wow. And I can tell Umara's got some questions.
First off, I want to thank everyone who hopped on. And Ivy said, I love your backstory of how you both met at 10X. Very cool. And Ivy also says, Emilia is hard to forget.
Yeah.
So good morning, everyone. Good morning. Jose, tell us a little bit about how you got into what you're doing right now. What inspired you? Because you're inspiring and motivating so many people.
Yeah, so I never in a million years would have thought that I'd be doing what I'm doing today, to be honest with you, because like I mentioned earlier, I was born and raised in the Bronx, New York. There weren't a whole lot of great mentors and or millionaires or wealthy people in our community, so that wasn't something that was normal for us. It was almost like that limiting type of mindset, that scarcity mindset. And the reality is that I was born with a neuromuscular condition also called spinal muscular atrophy. And so basically what that does is the older I get, the weaker my muscles get. And the doctors had said that by the age of 15, I would end up in a wheelchair, and they weren't even expecting me to live past my teenage years. But I have great news for everybody, because this year, back in February, I celebrated my 43rd birthday. Yeah, that's right. Super excited about that.
God bless you, brother.
Yeah, but when I was younger though, it wasn't prevalent. It wasn't, you couldn't see it, you couldn't really notice it. I didn't really feel it. And but I got diagnosed at a very young age, at the age of 3. So my parents knew about it. And as I got a little older, they started, explaining to me what this whole condition was all about and kind of prepping me for the future. And so I really didn't start feeling the shift until I was in my teenage years, in high school, actually. High school, that's like where you're trying to figure things out, and you're trying to fit in and see who you are and who you want to become and all of these different things. And if you're going to go to college, what your future is going to look like. And so for me, I wasn't thinking about any of that. I was in survival mode, right? Because the doctors had at the age of 19. So I was just wanting to survive. And but what happens is that I continued in that survival mode, right? Even after 19, I continued in that survival mode like everybody else does, right? Most people live their lives in fear. Most people live their lives with that scarcity mentality. Most people live their lives thinking that they're not going to be able to do great things. And I was like most people. I used to be like most people until I started to change my mindset. That's why I coined myself the mindset disruptor, because I'm a firm believer that everything starts and ends in the mind. What our self-talk and the story that we tell ourselves is what's going to shape our reality. And so I was always thinking, I'm never going to be able to do anything great. This wheelchair is a death sentence to me. No one's ever going to accept me. Everyone's going to reject me. I'm not going to be capable of doing much in life because of this condition. And that was the story. That was the narrative that I had for so many years. And so finally, like we all do, right? We all get to some point where we get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and we're faced with making a choice. Are we going to be complacent and settle and get stagnated where we are and just settle for that? Because what happens is that most people, they just settle for what life gives them. And I was one of those people. Again, I understand what that looks like. I know what it feels like, because I settled for what life had given me until I said, no more. This is unacceptable, and I'm not going to accept this. And so I made that choice and that decision that I said, I'm not going to let this wheelchair defeat me. I'm not going to let this wheelchair define me. And I'm not going to let this wheelchair dictate my destiny. And I made a choice. And the day that I made that choice, my life has never looked the same again.
Wow. Jose, yeah. So, I mean, I'm learning more and more, especially, when you read it, when you watch a Facebook post or something like that, it's different. But hearing those words come out of your mouth, it's almost like, like, wow. What would you say, Jose? Like you said, especially during those teenage years, and especially somebody who's probably going through, someone who's going through your situation, and you were in that transition, you trying to figure it all out. I don't know, what would be a first step for them?
Well, the first thing I would say is that you got to change the story you're telling yourself. You got to change the story you're telling yourself. Whatever story that is in your life and whatever that looks like, if it's not what you want, then you have the power to change it. You can change the story. Every single day that we wake up is a new day for us to write a new page in the book, right? We can write a new page in the book. We can write a new chapter. Every year is a new chapter, right? And so I know, as you and I are both authors, best-selling authors, we understand what that looks like. And again, when I was younger, I hated reading, let alone writing, but I understood as I started to dive into personal development that leaders are readers and readers are leaders, and that you have to be well read and well educated as far as what your niche is.
Yes.
And so I started reading a ton of books and learning and growing and expanding and increasing in different areas.
Wow.
And then I said, you know what? If one of these other guys can write a book and share their story, I'm going to do it too. And so I wrote a book. My first book was an ebook called Finding Your Greatness. My second book, which is a #1 bestseller, is called Don't Let Your Struggle Become Your Standard. The great Les Brown, the master motivator, he wrote the foreword to the book. And I've just been doing amazing things, man. Now I get to travel the world. I went on tour with Les 2 years ago, and I get to speak at different corporations. I speak at churches. I speak at colleges, universities, corporations. I have a 20-year corporate America background because that's all I thought I would be good at doing, a desk job. Give me a keyboard and a computer and a phone, and I can make a little bit of money. Right. And it's because that's all I thought I would be good at doing. I was good at it. I'm from New York, so I have the gift of gab. I can talk on the phone real swiftly.
Yeah.
And so I thought that's what I was, and I was good at it. I was in it for 20 years. I made a great living off of it. I worked my way from the bottom up, and that's where I met my beautiful wife. And just 3 years ago is when I decided to go full-time entrepreneurship. The company that I was working with, they were actually doing some layoffs, and I was one of the people that they wound up picking for the layoff. And I wasn't even angry or upset. I was a little surprised because I thought I was one of their top performers, but I wasn't even upset. I took it as a blessing, and God saying now is the time for you to spread your wings and do your own thing. And that was 3 years ago, and here we are, and I'm still soaring, man.
Wow, brother. Thank you for that. Oh man, I'm getting goosebumps. I don't know if it's because it's cold or your story. But man, I love what you're sharing. I know we've got some comments.
So Daniela says, wow, Jose Flores is a true example of determination and not letting our limits limit us. Austin joined and he's saying, love it, Jose. We are kindred souls, 19 years here. Wow.
Yeah.
And then I saw Ivy she says, yes, change your story, your narrative, paint your canvas. Don't allow others to paint your story. And Daniela again says, change the story you're telling yourself. You have the power to change it. By Jose Flores.
And thank you. And I want to say, Jose, just to people, you know how it is with the mind. People are scrolling through, they're on the way to work. So I want to encourage people to go to JoseInspires360.com. Again, JoseInspires360.com. Or
they can actually just go to JoseInspires.com.
Oh, JoseInspires.com. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you got that domain. And how about the Facebook? Is that still Facebook?
Yeah. All the other social media platforms is Jose Inspires. Yep, at Jose Inspires.
I love it, man. Guys, gals, my beloved, I'm encouraging you. We're going to say this a few more times because Jose has a message that people need to hear. And even if you're not personally challenged with what Jose has gone through, we all know someone who needs a word, a phrase, or just something to lift you up. And Jose has done this. He's not just trying this out, right? He's done this successfully, and he's done it on platforms with, as Jose said, with the famous Les Brown. I love Les Brown. Austin Haynes also. So how is that? I mean, was he your first mentor? Because that was beautiful to be invited for 2 years.
Yeah, so he was my mentor before I even met him in person. I was on YouTube, and that's what I want to let people know that are watching. If you don't have a mentor, or you're looking for a mentor, your mentor doesn't have to be someone who has to be there with you, that you can feel, that you can touch, that you can call. It can be somebody that you find on social media and then just follow them, study them, read their books, find out who they are, and find out their backstory. And that's exactly what I did with Les Brown. When I was in corporate America, I've been speaking for 5 years professionally. So because I'm a believer that you have to fund the dream until the dream can fund itself, right?
I love that.
And so I was working 2 jobs. I was working my corporate job, 8 to 5, 9 to 5. And then I would come home and work from 6 to 11, sometimes 6 to 12, writing my book, getting my stuff together, practicing, all these different type of things, right? because if you want more, you have to do more, learn more, and become more.
Wow.
So you can't just have that mindset that, I want to work Monday through Fridays, 9 to 5, weekends off. I mean, you can do that. I was doing that for so many years, but that's only going to get you but so far. So if you want more out of life, you have to be willing to do more in life.
Wow.
And so, so I was in corporate America and I still wasn't fulfilled. Like I was great at it. I had great coworkers and everything like that, but there was something still missing. And I was like, I felt like I wasn't functioning at my full capacity. And so obviously when you start learning more and it expands your thinking and your mindset, then you start to realize that there's much more that you can be doing, much more that you can obtain, and so much more that's out there for you. And so once I got to that level of awareness, I was like, man, the sky is the limit. I want to go after everything I want in life. And so little by little, I started chasing my dreams until I finally caught up to them. And I said to myself, there was so many years I was always focused on what I couldn't do in life, right? I can't walk anymore. I can't lift my arms above my head. I can't sit and stand on my own. I can't get dressed on my own. And for those of you who want to get a little behind the scenes of how life in a wheelchair looks like, you can go to my website. There's a really cool video on my website, and it shows the process that my wife and I have to go through in the morning just for me to get out of bed in the morning. Mm-hmm. But you can go and check that out, joseinspires.com. But, when I was in corporate America, I was feeling a little unfulfilled. And I said, well, we already know what you can't do, Jose. Well, what can you do? Wow. And I said, well, I still have a sound mind and I still have a voice. And I'm going to combine those two and use those to the maximum capacity. And so I went on Google and I typed in motivational speaking, and guess who popped up? Les Brown. So him amongst other ones as well. Eric Thomas was one who helped me out a lot in the beginning, and I followed him. And Tony Robbins, John Maxwell, some of the greats. Sure. Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, all of those guys. But I really stuck with Les Brown. His story resonated with me, just like all of us. We'll hear somebody say something or we'll see something, and it'll be that energy is transferable and it's connecting, right? Yes, so I connected with the story. I resonated with it. African American male, born in the slums of Miami, in an abandoned building, was born, given up for adoption. Had to work through racism, heavy racism during his time, even though we know it still exists today, but heavy racism during his time, and still overcoming in a predominantly white male industry and still rising above all of the odds that were stacked against him. That's the subtitle of my book, which is called How to Be Indispensable Even When the Odds Are Stacked Against You. And so there's so much meaning into what I do in my book, and I'm very strategic with what I do because I believe that everything should have a meaning and come from a place of growth. And so when I followed Les Brown and seeing everything that he was doing, I just fell in love with him, his style, his delivery, his humor, that contagious laughter he has. I have a similar contagious laugh as well. So it was just everything about him, man. So I just studied him. I went to his website or his social media, and I watched all his YouTube videos. And then he came to Florida, and that's where I finally had a chance to meet him. But I chased him through 3 different counties. I missed him the first time. I missed him the second time. And then, they say three times is a charm. Right. I met him on the third time at his third event because he was on tour and he was doing 3 spots in South Florida, West Palm Beach, Miami, and Fort Lauderdale. So I wound up catching up with him in Miami. I gave him my speaker kit and he called me the next day when I was right back at work. He called me the next day, and here we are 5 years later, still rocking and rolling, man.
Man, you know what? Wow, I love your story. And again, it's great to hear, again, when you read it, you watch it, but to really be right here live, it's another thing entirely. So I got 2 things. Number 1, I know we got some comments. I know that. But before we go into that, Jose, COVID-19. Right? Whatever we want to call it, people are calling it pandemic. I've heard it called all kinds of different things. How has that changed the impact, if any, that you're having? And how are you moving forward with it? Like what are upcoming events?
Yeah, so COVID, it's kind of threw everybody for a loop, right? So if you know how to pivot, then you were okay. and maybe things turned out good. But if you don't know how to pivot or you took too long, you might have missed out on some things and it might have hurt you. But I was able to pivot. I converted all my stuff to digital format, obviously, because everybody is in the digital realm now. And so I converted all my stuff to digital format, created programs and courses for, digitally, so that people can still take advantage. And then I'm just a monster on social media. I'm all over the place on Instagram, Facebook are my two top ones, but I'm on LinkedIn as well.
Okay.
Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, everything. Because you got to stay within the know, right? And the now.
Yeah.
And so, it did put a little hindrance on my business because I had a lot of in-person gigs that were scheduled that obviously got canceled, just like everybody else that's a speaker got canceled. And I did my first in-person gig actually last month up in Destin, Florida. It was really cool. They hired me to come up to an event up there. But a lot of my stuff has been virtual, man. I've still been reaching out to, former clients and even potential new prospects. I had someone just reach out to me yesterday from LinkedIn for a coaching opportunity, and we jumped on a call. So, I'm still doing my one-on-one coaching with my clients, still doing courses, still doing masterminds. So staying active, man. You gotta be able to think outside the box and be creative, and that's what I've been doing during this pandemic. And I also wrote my third book that I wrote with my wife. We just finished it. It'll be dropping hopefully in Q1 of next year. My wife and I just wrote a book. It's called What Real Love Looks Like.
What Real Love Looks Like. Okay. Wow. So, and is it gonna, when it drops, is it gonna drop on Amazon? Is it going to be where's it gonna?
We're gonna probably do the pre-sales on Amazon. It'll be through Amazon and primarily our website, because what we're doing is we're creating a curriculum with it as well. So it's going to be a book with a curriculum. So it'll come with a workbook.
Yeah.
We're going to also have a journal and a planner that comes along with it, because we have a program that we're going to be launching that's connected with the book that couples can use to not only survive through marriage but thrive in marriage.
Wow.
And it's going to be amazing, brothers. We have some really cool things.
Man, I'm excited. You know what I want to do? So I've got Austin Haynes. He's I don't know if you've been following Austin, but I want to go to comments, and then Austin's in the green room. Austin, you're gonna love Austin. I don't know if you've been following him or Austin. He's a good friend of mine, but I want to make a formal introduction right here, because he is awesome. He loves Les Brown too. He loves Les Brown. And James McNeil. I don't know if I'm sure you know James McNeil. So comments, because I know they're coming. They're in there.
So the whole chat is just blowing up with comments.
Oh man,
I love you, Jose. Everyone does. And Daniela says that you are a true inspiration, Jose. You made the conscious choice not to settle. It is all mindset. Amazing, my friend. Have goosebumps. Ibby says, what real love looks like coming up in 2021, you said? And
that's right, yeah.
Okay, perfect. And Anelda, she says, remember, you got to be hungry. It has to do with food. And love Les Brown. And Lisa says, resonating with people's story. Yes, enjoying hearing your story. You're an inspiration. And one last thing that Daniela said was, my dad has an old saying in Italian. Translated, it says, there is no defect unless there is something wrong with us. It means no matter what the challenge, it is up to us to turn it around. So, Jose, you're my hero, and I will call you the king of pivoting.
Thank you. Yeah, that's absolutely right. And again, like I said, man, everything is mindset. That's why it's my sweet spot, because in order for anyone to change anything, you have to change your mind first. You have to make up your mind, and the change happens in there before it happens out here.
Absolutely. Can you just repeat quickly website, Jose's website, just so that people can catch up?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go to Jose Flores Inspires.com. Is that correct?
JoseInspires.com.
Okay, JoseInspires.com. Awesome. And then I know you have a couple of other things, but that's the key one, right?
That's the key one. Yep. JoseInspires.com. Absolutely. There's actually a brand new course that I launched recently. It's a mindset course. It's called, you can go to mindsettakeover.com.
Okay, awesome. You know what we're going to do? What I want to do is I want to because I know people are like me are thinking. So I want to do two things. I want to bring Austin on, and I want you, before Austin, once we bring Austin on, I want to talk about your wife. I want to talk about Jose is the forefront of this, right? Jose is the mindset disruptor, but they say behind every great man, there's a woman. So I want to, because I know I seen the video, and that's what got me thinking. Like that video of your wife helping you, and it's like, wow. So let's go ahead and bring Austin on. But that's the first question I would like to jump in. Is that okay, Jose?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, brother. All right, let me bring in Austin Haynes. Hey, Austin. Welcome, Austin.
Welcome. You want to think bad enough to go out and fight for it.
That's right.
I know you asked Jose a question, so I'm going to sit and listen and hear the answer to that, and then I would love to jump in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice to meet you, Austin, by the way.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, so my wife is a real rock star, man. She's the brains behind the machine, so to speak. You know, she's incredible, man. I definitely wouldn't be able to do what I do without her. If you saw the video, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen the video, go watch it as soon as we're done with this interview, because it's amazing. But you know, she a lot of people ask us if we met, you know, how did we meet? If she met me in a wheelchair, because a lot of times people think that I was in an accident and we were together before the accident, and they come up with all these different ideas, right?
Right.
But you know, I met my wife on the job. I was already in a wheelchair. We were just really cool friends. We were on the same team, and we were really cool with our team members. We would go out together in groups to the movies, to the beach, to different things, and we just really built a solid friendship. And it was based off of that friendship that everything else started to evolve and start getting built off of. And here we are. We've been together for almost 20 years. We've been married for 13 years. And
Awesome.
it's just phenomenal, man. And we are truly like, we have an amazing love story, which is why we decided to write the book together. And everybody's always interested in like, when they see someone in a wheelchair who's married, they always have their own questions in their mind. And we answer all those questions in the book. We get real deep into a lot of different topics. And my wife is such an amazing soul. She's so kind. She's so loving. And when you talk about agape love, she's like so close to that type of love, right?
Wow.
That unconditional love. Like no matter what happened to you, no matter what the situation is, I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to love you. And we're going to get through this. And that's why her and I have such an amazing relationship. And that's why we feel qualified to write this book, because, you know, we go through the same struggles that every other normal marriage goes through. And then you throw in the whole wheelchair aspect of it. And now that's a whole nother beast that you have to be able to deal with, not only physically, but mentally as well.
Yeah.
And so the fact that we're able to overcome that situation of me and with the condition that I have to go through, you know, the fact that we're able to overcome that and truly love one another and be in love with one another and push through all the struggles we have to go through, it's just a phenomenal thing to hear, to watch, to listen to. And so many people have questions. You know, everyone hears my story, but everybody's so intrigued about hearing her story from the caregiver side. And that's why I have so much respect. Shout out to any caregivers that are watching this, because caregivers, I believe, don't get enough appreciation, public appreciation, public recognition. And I'm just so grateful for all of you guys, because it's because of you all, just like my wife, that help people like me get out of bed and be able to do what we love to do. So thank you guys that are watching. So I appreciate you guys. But yeah, she's a rock star. And I always take a few moments. I wanted to thank you, Emilio, for bringing that up, because I always take a few moments anyhow. I was going to at some point to honor my wife. Whether I'm speaking in a group of 10 or in a group of 10,000, I always honor my wife, because like I said, you know, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't even be on the show right now, because I'd still be in bed waiting for somebody to get me out of my bed. And so just to put that into perspective for some people, like, you know, my wife and I, we do marriage mentoring. And one of the things that I tell the couples that we're mentoring is that, you know, do you have to get your husband or wife dressed in the morning? in the bed? Do you have to physically lift them up? Do you have to help them on the toilet? Do you have to tie their shoes? Do you have to, I start putting things into perspective to them. And I'm like, so I'm pretty sure that this problem that you're going through isn't something that you can't overcome. And so when you put it to them like that, like, oh, man, this guy, you can't sit in front of my wife or I, and basically come with, these excuses, because we're going to put them down fairly quickly, And so when we're like, hey, if we can do it, we know for sure that you guys can do it. It's going to take work. It's going to take effort. It's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take commitment. It's going to take dedication. But if you're willing, you can have it.
Well said. Thank you for that, brother. I'm loving the interaction. People, I know that many are going to see this on the replay more than live. It's just the nature of this. So guys, please share and like this. That goes without saying. Jose really has a real message, especially if you're in a relationship. Come on. I mean, he just put it in perspective for me when I get pissed off at Daniela because, I don't know, she burnt the toast or something. And when you put it like that, it really shows that you have to take a look at your situation. And Austin, I know you've got a question for him.
I just want to say that if I come on here and I say, don't let your struggle be your standard, it would have a certain impact, right? People would go, oh, that's impressive. But when Jose comes on here and says, don't let your struggle be your standard, it has a whole different kind of meaning, doesn't it? And so I just want to honor Jose because he lives that. And when he's talking about his wife and he's sharing about his wife and everything that she's done for him, I believe that slogan is what they live by. And I'm sure that even though it's words on a page, that him and his wife live by that because they think about the struggles that Jose's had to go through. And that mindset, this is not our standard. We can still thrive. And the other thing I just want to say for people listening and to talk about perspective, somebody who's been down to the bottom, who's like we talked about, who's felt the feels, who's had to struggle to get up, who's been in a depressed state and is able to thrive, has an incredible perspective that everyone should pay attention to. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Jose, thank you, Austin. What I want to say within the next minute here or so, because we want to respect your time, and I know we all have, I know there's a lot of wonderful stuff going on. At the Academy, we teach three things, and we talk about gratitude, talk about forgiveness, and we talk about service. Jose, how does that look? How does that work in your life, especially with what you're doing? Like, how do you do gratitude?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say that any real true leader, those should be three pillars for every leader. Gratitude, service, and what was the third one?
No, forgiveness.
And forgiveness, exactly. I think that just should be a foundation for every person, right? Because that's what's going to help us to continue to move forward. But definitely, man, people, Les Brown calls me the motivator to the motivators because I'm always motivating him. And
I like that.
Yeah, but there's times, man, where I'm human and I have my days, and so people always ask me, well, what do you do to get through your days when you have them? And that's the first thing. That's my go-to, man, is I put myself and I create an attitude of gratitude. I purpose to create that because I have the power to create that. So I can either create an atmosphere of misery and bitterness and, oh, woe is me, or I can create an attitude of gratitude. And so I start to go down the list. Like I was just talking to my wife the other day. I'm just going to share this quick story. My wife and I spent Thanksgiving up in Orlando. And my wife is vegan. So we go to this vegan restaurant. This was on Saturday, just this past Saturday. My wife and I are in the vegan shop and we're eating. And so it's hard for me to lift my arms up, right? So it's like difficult for me to even grab a burger and bring it up to my mouth to eat. So you can see I still have some level of movement. But as I'm there getting frustrated with myself because I'm having a difficult time lifting up this, it was actually a taco that we were eating, a vegan taco. So I'm trying to lift this vegan taco to bite it, and it's like spilling, and I'm getting frustrated and upset, brother. Here comes this guy in a wheelchair, paralyzed from the neck down, and he's breathing in a straw to move the wheelchair around. So I get a little emotional thinking about it because a lot of times we think that we have it tough until we see the next person who has it tougher than we have it. And this guy, he came in smiling, and he was like this with a straw in his mouth, just like moving like this. And here I am complaining about the taco meat falling out of the taco. But from his perspective, he's probably thinking, man, I wish I could spill taco meat all over myself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amen to that.
For me, that put, when I see stuff like that, that stuff puts stuff into perspective for me. And so that right there just completely changed my attitude immediately.
Wow.
And so I just wanted to share that because a lot of times, we think like, oh man, I don't know why this is happening or why that is happening. And as soon as somebody else that you see has it going, that looks like from the outside has it worse off than you, it kind of changes it can change your attitude right away and your perspective. And so I share that because, like I said, I'm human too, and I get frustrated and I get overwhelmed because there's certain things that I can't do physically. But there's people that are out there that are bedridden that can't even get out of bed. They can't even turn their neck. They can't even feel or touch because they're completely paralyzed. And I'm not. And so I just, once I think about that and being grateful for the little bit that I do have and the little mobility that I do have, that starts to make me, we start to, and I mean, I can get deep with it, but we start to release serotonin and endorphins, the body's natural feel-good chemicals. And that right there shifts when you shift your mind state, you shift your whole physical, your whole physiology starts to shift as well. And so, yeah, man, the mind is, I think we don't give our brains the credit that it deserves because of all it can do.
Yeah. Jose, man, I mean, I know that I was touched by that. Just to see how you delivered that. I mean, right, anyone watching this will go, wow, says in a wheelchair, right? I mean, that's pretty bad. And then when you went like this, you showed the difficult and the challenge of that. People were like, wow. But then when you painted the picture, when you said this guy came in with a straw, I mean, I was just like, what in the world? I mean, and yeah, I mean, it really is a mindset. It really is where you're at with it, with the attitude. Could we please find out, is there any questions before we transition? Because I know there's got to be some questions.
Absolutely. I just don't want this call to ever end.
Yeah.
So inspirational.
It's a beautiful. Thank you.
Like we're complaining about weather and we're complaining about all these things, and there's this beautiful inspiration. So Daniela says, wow, you're going to make me cry when you were talking about your wife, right? And she says, while I'm at work. So really, Jose, I just want to hug you and your wife, and God bless you both. And then she says, she's telling Emilio she never burned the toast, by the way. So,
yeah, bad example, man.
Bad example. I'm ready to dog out.
And she says, so true, Jose. My dad always told us there's always someone else worse off than you, so be grateful. Great story, Jose. And another says, love you, and I don't even know you. Women complain about not having enough shoes while others have no feet. Thanks for being so real and so inspirational. And Daniela again says, Jose, was there ever a time when you just wanted to give up? How did you get through it?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of times I want.
Yeah, right.
I think every entrepreneur has times where they want to give up, but I thank God that suicide never entered my mind, not once. There were times where I cried. I hated God at one point because I felt like He did this to me. Like I was born like this. I felt like I was never given a chance at life because I was born like this. So I was upset with God at one point. I was upset with my family, with the world, and I was just so angry. And I, through the grace of God, I've been able to navigate through that and come to peace with it, right? Like Paul in the Bible says, we have to learn to be content in all things, right? Not that we accept it or that we're excited about it, right? When a tragedy or something that happens to us that's unexpectedly, but I've learned to be content like this, and so. And again, this takes, living the kind of life that I live. And I'm not taking away from any other struggles than anyone else goes through, because I believe that a struggle is a struggle no matter what. And everybody processes it and goes through it differently. But for me, it takes a certain level of mindset to be able to continue to push through every single day and put a smile on your face and live with true joy, love, and happiness. And I can honestly and truly say that I live that type of life. And I don't say that to boast or brag, but I say that to inspire anyone that's watching, to letting you know that you could live a life full of love, joy. Some people ask me, what does success look like? And for some people, it's the fancy stuff, right? All the bells and whistles, all the toys. For me, man, success just means that if you're living a life to where you're content, you're happy, you're at peace, you're filled with joy and happiness, that to me, that's success. Because you can be Warren Buffett or Jeff Bezos and be going through a divorce, or have children that have gone astray, or you can be empty on the inside and no joy, no happiness, is bitterness. And is that real success? Like what? So to me, that's what success is. If you're content, you're happy, you're filled with peace and joy, then you're successful in life. And so I get to live that type of life, but it's because I choose to live that type of life. Again, everything goes back to our mind and our choices and decisions. So I wake up every day, I look at the wheelchair. I used to look at the wheelchair and be like, oh man, I got to get into that thing again. And and that alone just used to make me want to stay in bed all day. But when you can shift and pivot your mindset, and now I look at the chair and I'm like, I can't wait to get into the chair, because it's because of this chair that I get to get out of bed. Not that I have to get out of bed, but I get to get out of bed. I get to go into the world. I get to get on social media, hang out with all YouTube people. I get to do all these things. Not that I have to, right? I can make a choice and say, no, I want to stay in bed and be miserable. But I say, no, I want to get up. I want to get in that chair, because this chair allows me to get around and move around and have a certain level of independence. And so because of that, I'm excited to get up in the morning and get into this wheelchair. I'm excited to jump on these lives. I'm excited to impact and inspire people. I'm excited to speak for corporations and organizations and nonprofits and universities. I'm excited to write books. I'm excited to have a wife and 2 children. I'm excited. If you can't see how excited I am right now, then you must be dead somewhere. Like
wow.
You got to be excited for life, because if you're not, man, if you're not excited for life, your life won't be exciting.
Jose, listen, I am over the moon excited that you're with us. You're blessing people, and I know people are blessed by this message, and I want to honor your time. Brother, last thing, how can people get a hold of you? Because I want people to connect, and hopefully this isn't the last opportunity that we'll have. Hopefully we can bring you on next month.
I think you should have his wife on next month with him.
Okay. Is that okay?
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have to run it by her, but yeah, we can definitely have a conversation.
Thank you. So, so our best to Andrea, your wife, and I'm sure we'll continue to connect. How can people get a hold of you, Jose?
Absolutely. We said it a couple of times, but if you're just joining, you can go to joseinspires.com. And you can follow me you can reach out to me on any social media platform, also at Jose Inspires. It's pretty uniformed. You can find me on any social. You can Google Jose Inspires and I'll pop up, and you can reach out to me through there as well. So website or social media is the best way to get in touch with me. If you want to email me, you can email me at info@joseinspires.com as well, and my team will get back to you. If you're watching and you have an organization or you have a company and you want to bring me in to just lift up the whole organization and get everybody fired up, but not only fired up, right? Because a lot of times you hear, motivate. I don't really like to coin myself motivational speaker, because we don't really get the best of raps. It's like once the motivator goes, so does the motivation. So I think motivation is like internal. We have to be self-motivated. But I always like to, motivate people towards action, towards taking action, and towards continuing to take action in their lives, so that they don't have to live an average life. And it baffles my mind that so many people are, they say they can't wait for things to get back to normal. And for many people, for most people, normal is mediocrity, normal is average. And there's so many people that can't wait to get back to that. So I'm like, right now, this whole pandemic was a perfect time for you to be able to make a shift or a pivot to not go back to normal, and to create a new normal, so that your normal can look different when you go back to everyone else, going back to things looking normal.
Awesome, man. Man, I definitely want to have you on, and I'm looking forward to attending one of your, when this thing opens up, and I'm going to encourage people to get your courses in your books, because I mean, I just this small interaction here that we had, you filled my cup for the day. So I thank you, everyone. Let's say bye to Jose. We're gonna catch you later, brother.
Love you guys. Appreciate
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Have an amazing day. Nice to meet you.
Nice
Take
to meet
care.
you, Jose. Blessings,
All right.
brother.
Bye-bye, brother.
God bless.
Gracias. Gracias. All right. Umara, I think she froze. Something.
The screen froze.
Yeah, the screen froze.
But you can see my ugly mug on here, right?
Awesome. Austin, man. Welcome again. And what did you the biggest takeaway for you, man? What was your biggest takeaway?
You know what was coming to me as I was closing, or as Jose was closing, was when he was talking about his wheelchair, and he said, "I got to get in that thing again."
Yeah.
And then that now his perspective is, I can't wait to get in there.
Yeah.
And I think there's things in our lives when we get up, oh, I got to do that again.
Yeah.
And that minor shift. And I was listening to Jeff Bezos yesterday talking about if there's a frustration or something welling up, there's something that you need to do. And the quicker you can get into action, the quicker you're going to feel better. So there's a gap, right? When there's that like in Jose's case, he's like, oh, I got to get in that wheelchair again, right? But the quicker you get into motion, the quicker your emotions start to rise. And what's that thing in people's lives that they're looking at going, oh, how quick can you get into motion and start to make progress? And I think that's the key that I just picked up again from listening to Jose.
Yeah, no, you know what? Thanks for sharing that, brother. And I know that I'm excited because Jose's business, he got into the online, and that's what we all want to be.
Yeah.
But we have an opportunity right here, right now, in the next couple of days to get away from all the Zoom and stuff. Tell us about what you got going on this Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
First of all, thank you for allowing me to come onto your platform every day. We've been on here every day. And the reason why we're on here every day is because we know that psychologically it takes multiple times for people to hear a message.
True.
Because we can all run hypnotized by our life. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. I got to do that. I must do this. And we're in a constant state of the same old. And it's tough sometimes to get a message through that says, my God, I need to do something different. I need to do something. I need to get around different people. I need to take a new action. I'm looking at that wheelchair in my life and I don't want to do it. I need to get into forward motion. And so I just want to encourage people that this is a turnaround story. This is the place where things can turn around for you. I spent 19 years in corporate America, as you know. I felt like my life was over at one point. And through the grace of God, community, and the things that I'm learning today that I've learned by being around somebody like Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar. You and I shared that story. We both met Zig Ziglar, and he wrote a Bible quote on my book, and that I got from him, and had the opportunity to hear him speak. And being around these types of people is what changed my life. It's why Austin Haynes is in front of you, because I could be somewhere else. Right. I could be an alcoholic. I could be barely getting by. I could have been married 3 times. I could have had a heart attack. My dad had a stroke at 51, So this is an invitation to turn things around and start to craft a life that you could maybe you never imagined before, and start to feel more fulfilled in your journey. And I really want to encourage you from the depth of me to get to this. And not for me, there's going to be people there like Emilio and Daniela. And just we were on a call last night, Emilio. What incredible people are going to be there. Wow. I'm humbled, brother. And I just want you, the listener, to join us.
Yeah. And, so I've been to your events, Austin, and I'm headed off to Costa Rica here shortly.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that, we're taking the precautions and everything. And I understand where people are at in terms of, they have an interest. They love the message that you're bringing, and they know they need it. So if you can't get to the live event for whatever, any, physical or whatever that is, the health concerns, they can stream. Is that correct?
They can stream it live. We have an interactive stream where we're going to bring you into the event. And then we're also doing a free stream. And I'm actually going to be going to the studio today because we need to test this. This is new. We're doing a new platform. And we already have the next one on the calendar next year in March. This is not going away. But But now's the time. This is like version 1. It's your chance to get in on something that's just starting. The relationships, the collaboration, and Amelia, I'll just let the cat out of the bag here a little bit. The program that I'm working on, if you want to be a speaker, you want to be an influencer, you're a healer or a practitioner, and you want to really explode your business, we have created something that is a rocket ship for your business.
Yes. And you know, Austin gave me, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So I won't go into details, but I've been privileged to be given a glance at this.
Ooh, I got goosebumps.
Ooh, I was like, Austin, are you kidding me? He was like, oh yeah, this is version 1.
Yeah.
There's a version 2 or 3, but there's never ever going to be another version 1.
That's right.
So you'll start paying attention. Stay plugged in. If you love Austin Haynes and you follow him like Danielle and I faithfully do, just stay plugged in. You are going to, like he says, launch. When this thing launches, it's going to launch. And anybody within that, what we call in the military, the back blast, anybody within that back blast area, going to be blown away forward, though.
Yeah, it's like when the tide rises, right? You know, it's we can do so much in a group. Yeah. We can do so much when we when we get in a community and do it like you're creating here.
Thank you. And I love that saying because I don't think I've ever heard it before. If I have, you reminded me of it. So you said when the tide rises,
all boats rise. Even the smallest boat rises.
Boom.
So get in the water, right?
Yeah.
So however you get in the water, and when the tide rises, all boats rise. And that's what I've done. Yeah.
Amen,
absolutely.
Brother. Amen. So this is awesome, Austin. I know that there's a lot going on. How can people go ahead and find out more about what's
well, you can drop the link for the event.
Okay.
And by the way, I'll just mention that James is going to make an appearance too. James McNeil. He just had an event, 2,600 people registered. He is, global. James is global. 30 years doing this. He's been with the best people. He's a personal friend of Les Brown.
Yes.
Yes. And I know we drop these names a lot. I get it, but it's just so important to get around people you want to be like. Oh, Mara's coming back. That's great.
Yeah. No. You're right. I'm listening to you, and I wanted to make sure that I'm
getting a little static. Hopefully it locks in here in a minute.
Yeah. Let's see, Mara. Are you there, my friend?
Yeah. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
No worries. We're wrapping this up. But I'm glad you're here, and I'm just trying to get whatever that is out of my face. But okay, I can't see Austin now.
I'm here.
Okay,
can you hear me?
Brother. Yep, I can see you. But listen, Austin. So this is super exciting. Comments? Is there any comments? Because I know regarding Austin.
Yes.
I just want to love on people. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
And I was saying, looking forward to be part of this one-of-a-kind event when you are creating a space for people to be transparent, be present, let go, and be free. So thank you so much. Mandy is saying, I was just on his day 1 of 30-day challenge.
Yes, that's James's event. Yep. And yeah.
And Danielle is saying, Emilia and I are so excited to attend your Flashpoint event. I will drop the link below. Still a few tickets left. Grab it, people. Grab it.
Few tickets left. Tomorrow's going to be streaming, and we're going to do a I hate to call it a challenge, but we're going to do 9 questions to identify and remove limiting beliefs once a day.
9 questions.
Right, 9 questions, and each question was recorded at an inspirational place that I was when I was across the country. I'm standing on the rim of the Grand Canyon, so I recorded one of the questions. So this course was done all across the United States, and it's a little mini course that we're going to do every day to help people truly get over these blocks. Like, what's holding you back, right? So whatever's holding you back, it's time. Let's overcome together. Let's do it together. So I'm going to be rolling that out. So immediately after the event, I'm not going to leave you. I'm going to love on you more. Yes. And we're going to get into this as a group, as a community. You're going to journey with me. You're going to journey with Amelia. You're going to do this together. I know I'm talking, but listen, let's do it.
I'm loving it, man. Austin, I'm loving this, man. I think we're at the top of the hour.
Yeah, let's roll.
Just like Umara was saying earlier, I wish we can just hug everybody and just sing Kumbaya or something, man. This is so wonderful, and people need this at this time.
Yes.
If you're watching this on the
Yes.
replay, please share. And even if you feel, well, maybe this sounds cutesy, but I don't need it. There's someone you know who's in pain. There's someone you know who's challenged right now who needs this information. Who knows? You may be saving a life. Seriously. You may be saving a marriage. Think about it.
Oh, yeah.
You just had, I mean, so
Yeah.
listen, you know, sharing is caring. I've heard that said many a time. So if you care about someone, please share this information with someone. Guys, listen, thank you so much. I love you guys. Austin,
Love you.
Umara.
One request from Daniela, and she's reminding that we did not start with the breath, so she's requesting to end with the breath. So I'll let you do it, Amelia, today.
Okay. All right. Wow. Well, you know what? How about this? You forego to me. I'm gonna send it to Austin.
Okay. Okay. So if you're listening to this, you just clicked on just give yourself a moment. Maybe you want to sit down. Just grab a moment, right? If you can't grab a moment, then grab a moment. Let's grab a moment. Okay. What we're gonna do is just relax. But if you can, put your feet on the floor. Start to feel your breath. Just notice your breath. And what I want you to do, I want you to go for your deepest breath of the day. And we're going to do one more. And I just want you to notice the pause at the top and the bottom of the breath. One more. Exhale. Open your eyes, feeling great.
Thank you. That was
Thank you, Diane.
I needed that. I had to pass it over to you because I was too amped up to really put myself. So thank you for honoring us. Thank you, Daniela.
Thank you.
And thank you for reminding us. Listen, I feel like my cup is full today, and I want to continue to go about my business. So listen, I love everyone on here. I just want to end on that note. Okay, guys.
God bless.
God bless everyone. All right.